There's a sickness in the way you talk about other human beings, a brittleness you mistake for strength, a certainty built on sand. You cling to a single word, criminal, as if those few syllables grant you moral clarity, as if it erases nuance, circumstance, context, and the complex paths that lead people to the moments you've decided define their entire existence. You throw that word like a stone and expect it to silence every question, every ounce of discomfort, every reminder that the world is bigger than your binary categories. And the way you use that word is telling. You stretch it to cover everything and everyone you don't want to understand. You take a person whose only illegality is crossing a border out of desperation and you fold them into the same category you reserve for people who've committed real harm. You do it because it frees you from having to see them, their fear, their choices, their humanity. And then, when someone like me refuses to follow you into that distortion, you insist we're excusing criminals as if your label is objective truth instead of a convenient tool to justify cruelty. But humanity doesn't dissolve just because you declare someone unworthy of it. It doesn't vanish when a person breaks a law, and it certainly doesn't vanish when someone's so-called crime is nothing more than crossing an invisible line on a map in order to survive. Humanity isn't a luxury item. It isn't something you get to revoke because it's easier for you not to see it, right? You insist that recognizing someone's humanity means defending their actions. It doesn't. It never has. That conflation isn't moral clarity. It's a shield you hold up to avoid the harder truth. That the line between good people and criminals isn't a canyon. It's a thread. It's circumstance. It's privilege. It's who got believed and who didn't, who got second chances and who got none, who had a safety net and who fell through every hole in it. You know, you cling to the word criminal because it lets you stop thinking. It lets you push entire groups of people into a mental basement and lock the door. It lets you pretend their stories don't matter, their trauma, their poverty, their addictions, their childhoods, their lack of options. But it also lets you pretend that your worst moments don't count, that your mistakes don't follow you because they weren't documented, prosecuted, or politicized. And here's where your reasoning becomes rotten: when cruelty feels deserved, when suffering feels earned, and when degradation looks like justice to you. You forgot or refuse to see that every time you decide a group of people is no longer worthy of basic dignity, the standard shifts. It always shifts. It never stays where you imagine it will. Today, you're comfortable stripping humanity from the people you've decided to call criminals. Tomorrow, the target expands to whoever the state finds inconvenient, powerless, voiceless, or simply unpopular. Once you accept dehumanization for someone else, you've accepted the logic that one day will be used against you, right? If removing someone's humanity makes you feel safer, that's not safety. That's denial. A society that treats cruelty as order isn't stable. It's brittle. It shatters under pressure. It becomes a place where justice is arbitrary, where punishment depends on who has power, where mercy looks like weakness and righteousness looks like vengeance. You don't have to excuse harm to reject cruelty. You don't have to absolve anyone to refuse to strip them of dignity. You don't have to know someone's story to know that we do not build a better society by degrading human beings until they break. Accountability and dehumanization are not the same. Punishment and cruelty are not the same. Consequences and humiliation are not the same. And if you can't tell the difference, you're not defending society, you're sabotaging it. Ask yourself why empathy feels dangerous to you. Why dignity feels like a threat when it's extended to someone you've already condemned. Why the idea of protecting someone's humanity, even after they've done something wrong, or in the case of undocumented immigrants, done nothing more harmful than trying to survive, makes you lash out and accuse others of defending criminals. Why you need someone beneath you for you to feel upright. Why the idea of extending grace terrifies you more than the idea of living in a world where cruelty is policy. Here's the truth you're trying not to face. If humanity is conditional, right, then it's conditional for you. If the state can deny it to them, the state can deny it to you. If cruelty is acceptable for them, it's acceptable for anyone, including the people you love. But if humanity is inherent, if it's something we defend, not because of what people do, but because of what they are, then you have a society that can correct, restrain, rehabilitate, and still remain human. Recognizing someone's humanity isn't about their mistakes. It's about protecting our capacity to remain human in a world that keeps trying to numb it out of us, right? It's about drawing a line and refusing to let cruelty cross it. It's about rejecting the lie that the worst thing someone has ever done or the hardest choice they've ever had to make is the only thing they'll ever be. You've forgotten that, and this is your reminder.